Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anything and Everything, and I am Gunner, your host, and this is week 8 of our gold mining adventures. So let's go into this really quick. Let's get our pickaxes out, get them cleaned up, and let's dig into this. So it has been a very exciting yet very scary week in the world of crypto. Bitcoin did drop down to $84,000, and gold mining tokens did drop down well below 30 cents. I think at one point it was down in the 28 cents per token, or low 29s. I'm pretty sure it was down in the 28 cents. So I don't know exactly for sure. I should have logged it, but I didn't. So let's get started. We did acquire you'll notice our miner list has grown considerably. That is because because when Bitcoin went down, we did acquire 9 miners. Individual miners. They were a lot cheaper in tokens than upgrading our current. And I'm going to tell you, we saved a ton of money by doing that, because if you watch my video, new versus upgrade versus marketplace, you will know that when you buy a new or upgrade, that price is set at dollars, and the amount of crypto it takes to buy that will be adjusted to match that, to ensure that GoMining gets that dollar amount worth of whatever crypto you choose to upgrade. Whereas when you put a miner in the marketplace, you set a set number of GoMining tokens to sell it for, and that's what it sells for no matter what the value is. So when tokens comes way down, it becomes extremely lucrative to buy these things off the marketplace than it is to buy new or upgrade. In fact, on some of these miners, I saved as much as 15 and 20 tokens. I'm not going to lie. So 6 of these miners are still at 20 watts per terahash. All but one of these miners were at 15 watts per terahash when I purchased them. One was at 15 because it was so cheap I couldn't overlook it. The other 8 were at 20 watts per terahash, and we did go ahead, because 2 of them were so cheap, we did go ahead and pay the tokens to immediately upgrade them to 15 watts per terahash, because even with that, at the current token price, it was a lot cheaper than new or upgrading. The other 6 are still 20s. They will get upgraded later, but when we figured the cost on whether or not it was going to be cheaper, we knew we couldn't upgrade down the road, or we knew we couldn't upgrade right now. We were going to do that down the road. So when we figured in the cost of these to upgrade them, we did figure the cost of tokens at 40 cents per token at the time we upgrade them, with the current cost of getting them, and they became cheaper. So we will upgrade those 6 when tokens hit 40 cents or higher. So our mining results for the week, we did mine 7.85 GoMining tokens for the week. It would have been almost 12, except we made a mistake on the 17th of joining Mining Wars. And what happened there was, when you join Mining Wars, you do not get tokens for the day that you join Mining Wars. You also do not get tokens for the day that you leave Mining Wars, and you don't get tokens for the next day either. And that really sucks, because we were only in Mining Wars for a few hours before we left it, but as a result, we went 2 days without any rewards whatsoever. And I think it's worth noting here that something I found out too: when you join Mining Wars, you do not pay daily service fees. You only pay your service and electricity fees if you win blocks, and you pay the fees on those blocks. That's it. So if you got good terahash and you win a lot of blocks, Mining Wars can be very, very lucrative. But for somebody like myself that's fairly low terahash, 36.25 terahash, that's not going to be a lot of rewards unless I just get lucky. So we did have 5 token acquisitions. We had a 100 token, a 250 token, and a 75 token acquisition. Those were investments. We did have 2 65 token acquisitions that were reinvestments. And again, I won't go over the numbers, but the numbers have been added up here to the appropriate column: invest, reinvested, and then our total vested right there, which meant that we gained a total of 9 terahash for the week. And as you can see over here, you can see our 9 miners, and you can see the two that we did upgrade when we purchased them. So this does give us a considerable miner list here to choose from. But, and again, in our strategy, we're keeping all miners at 25 watts per terahash, or 25 terahash or below. So we're going to need a lot of miners anyways down the road. And when your strategy involves that, then it's better to buy them when you can, even if you have to bunch of 1 terahashes in your bag just sitting there mining. They don't produce much rewards, but they do produce rewards. And then you have them now as opposed to later. And it's kind of a guessing game, you know. Bitcoin dipped from over $110,000 to $84,000. And with gold mining's dipping down from almost 50 cents per token all the way down to below 30, we did save a fortune doing that. And I don't believe it will do that again before we are ready to get more miners. So we went on ahead and did it now, and we have them sitting there when we're ready. So let's go to the site. And I don't want my screen black. There it is. Okay, yeah. So as a result, we have a total of 15 miners. Now that does include the bonus miner, so it's actually 14. At 37.26 terahash, we have a average efficiency of 15.81 watts per terahash. And again, that is because of those 6 miners that are at 20 watts per terahash. Now our discount did drop. We were at over 25% discount, but because the value in our locks, but because the token is down so low, let's see, let me bring it up here. But because the value of tokens are so low, it dropped us down to 252 days. And it's not just because of the low price of tokens right now. It is also because we did add the 9 terahash of power to ours. So we would need to actually buy a bunch more tokens, or get a bunch more tokens and lock them down to get that back. Or as tokens come back up, that will increase, because this is based on the cost of your maintenance. So as the value of tokens comes up, this will slowly increase again. I do not believe it will hit 20% again unless I add a bunch more tokens to it. But we're going to wait and see what it does. We're focusing on mining power for right now. We will worry about these again later. Especially since between the bounty and our lock rewards, we are getting, well, I haven't actually calculated it yet, but we are getting almost enough to cover an entire week's worth of service fees. So we're not 100% worried about this right now at the moment. Okay, we are worried about getting ourselves established. We did already switch over. This is a, why is this in reinvest into? Okay, so we have this set for, oh yeah, we are going to run a couple of tests this week. If we look at our strategy sheet, we'll see that this week is our flexible week, and this is supposed to be our Satoshi for cash out week. But what we're going to do is, there's been a question in our mind, because we did on our larger miner, we did do some auto reinvest, and then we did a standard upgrade, and it looked like it gave us 0.03 terahash free on that, because we were at like 14.97 or something like that, and it rounded up to the next terahash when we did that upgrade. So we were going to do at least 1 day of auto reinvest, so we get an actual accurate number of what that miner's terahash is, even though it ain't gonna make no difference in the rewards if it's 0.03 off. We are still going to do that because we want that number to be as accurate as possible. So we do have that set for that. We'll do this 1 day to get that number, and we'll see how that goes. And then we will also turn maintenance and GoMining off and do 1 more day of auto reinvest on that miner, and we will compare the two differences. That's 2 days. And then the rest of the week we will probably turn reinvesting off completely, and then turn maintenance and GoMining off, and we will just run straight Satoshis with the service fees coming out of Satoshis for the remainder of the week for withdrawal. Now that will not give us enough Satoshis to actually make a withdrawal that week. But that's okay. We can let it sit in our wallet, and then once we get enough, we can actually cash it out. We could keep mining for tokens, but a very strong point was made to me in the Telegram. I wish I could remember who it was. I'd give him a shout out on here, but he said if you reinvest everything you mine into your account, in a few years, I think 3 or 4 years from now, when the Bitcoin token halving occurs, which is a point where the amount of rewards that are in a Bitcoin block are halved. If you invest everything, you're not going to have anything in your wallet, and you're going to be stuck with miners now, an account that is producing half the results. So what is the point of having all that terahash if you have nothing put back for it, or nothing to show for it other than a miner that's producing half the results? So we have decided that on that week, we might experiment for a day or two during that week. We might even do mining wars a day or two during that particular week. But we will most likely actually do it and just let it build up. And then when we get enough, we'll cash it out to our cold wallet. So that is what we're doing. One day in reinvesting terahash with tokens for maintenance. One day for that same thing without tokens for maintenance. And then the rest of the week it will be Satoshis for cash out. So that has been what is going on for the week. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and we will see you next week.